Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jim, we hear you. We'll start soon.
That's okay. I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Okay, so I think we have quorum. I guess we'll get started. Let me see. I could have sworn there was more people. That's fine. There's no there. All right, we'll get started so that we're not here till 12 o'clock again. I'm sorry.
Good ideas.
So, good evening. We'll wait for Fred to sit down since he's public member on our committee. Where do you want me to sit? Wherever you want. Yes. I've reviewed these multiple times, so I'll let you guys have a take a look at this.
There's the ones.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, I'll pass one this way, one this one. Those are the applications that we'll be reviewing today. All right, so without further ado, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Leo Jimenez. I am the chair of the Traffic and Transportation Committee. I like to call it a Committee of Action and Advocacy. I'm joined by my colleagues, and I'll allow you guys to present your names.
I'm Jody Gerson. Parks and Cultural Affairs and Traffic and Transportation.
I'm Ann Megas. I am on the committee of the Concerns of the Aging and Land Use, and I'm a community board member tonight here. And I'm Melissa Sims, and I am an Inwood resident, and I'm also a member of licensing.
Hi, Daryl Cochran, also a member of Parks and Cultural Affairs.
Fred Sof, I'm the public member of the TNT committee.
And then we have Jim Berlin online.
I'm
Jimmy.
Jim Berlin. I'm a member of this committee. I'm a member of the Land Use Committee. I'm the board parliamentarian. And I'm feeling a little under the weather, so that is the reason for my being remote. And just to remind everyone, now, the rules are actually that if you are remote, you have to tell people why. So now you know. Nice
Get
being
better
with
soon,
you.
Jim. And
Thank
we
you.
also have Noemi
Hi.
Diaz joining us from her vacation. Noemi's our
Hi,
first
team.
vice chair.
Hi, team, Vice Chair of Traffic and Transportation, and also part of Public Safety. Thank you all for being present. My reason for not being in person is due to vacation time. Due to the DOE, we all have vacation this week. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll get started. Just to move the agenda, we're calling the meeting to order. We should have called it at 7:05. I want to thank Noemi for helping me with the meeting minutes, Melissa as well for sending, and Jody. Thank you guys. It is a lot of work, so I appreciate you guys taking the notes, passing it forward. With that being said, we're gonna start with the street code naming. So just to give a little context, every April and October, the board, our committee, we review applications that are come in for street naming on our streets. We had two prior applications come back. We asked them last year to remove the application due to certain issues with the guidelines. We reviewed the guidelines. We decided to keep it as is because we wanted to align with the city council. City council has certain requirements for the guidelines, and we try to mirror it because it is unfair to review the applications, vote on it here, and then send them to city council if they have different requirements. And so I'm glad both of you guys came back. Without that being said, you guys ready? All right, so we'll start with Leonardo DeLone. And we're joined by his mom Estrella and his friend.
His brother.
Oh, his brother, I'm sorry.
I have the PowerPoint.
Yes.
How are you? Okay, and you? How's everything good? Nice to see you.
I know, it keeps like.
So you're a regular board member?
Yeah.
What are the
Nice.
subcommittees?
Parks and Culture. Been on it for a long time. It was a lead executive. So that's why. we're on another committee. It's my first in-person one.
You've been hanging out online, and they don't see it. Week passing.
Just
District or
Right across from Bennett Park.
For voters, I'm on McGoff's.
Yes, one of those weird named streets.
Colonel Rod, yes, I'm the one right next to the church.
Ah. Wow, I live close to Alex Rose Place.
Seen that.
That's Cabrini and 185 extended.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Strange things.
Mhm.
It's been strange to me.
Yeah.
Who was Alex Rose?
I think we can work this way.
There's no comprehensive website. Yes, football, but I don't know. It'd be nice.
If there is, you know. wouldn't think to go there first, you're just gonna do a Google name search.
Right.
And if they're big enough to have their own Wikipedia page or web presence, well,
Mhm.
they don't, they won't. I had no idea who it was. I can't even. That guy was absolute.
That's what I was thinking.
That must have been going there.
It's-
It's, he has a, no, it's Alan's from.
That's not.
He's a politician.
Oh, okay.
And at one time he was like, you know, he had his 5-year window as the most powerful politician in New York. It's the street.
Oh, wow. I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was like 1920.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Go on. Definitely.
Yeah. That might not only be good.
The power. It's one of my dreams. Because I ran into. I don't do slides. Jen Sora. She's in parks, so.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Over the time she was in charge of that, so Lisa, that fell into her purview. And you know, the whole park was slated to do for capital rebuild.
Yeah.
Which is now obviously been pushed off because the money must never gone through, but it's on like what I said, the 5-year plan. So hearsay, I don't really understand any. And then I'm like, are they gonna rebuild the bathrooms? And she was like, yes. And she
Bruce,
said,
hey, Bruce,
$2 million.
yeah,
Crazy.
So my goal is
that's reserved for you.
cheaper.
Sign this.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I know, like the Javits playground. That they redid except for the welcoming center. Yeah, the bathroom.
Well, it didn't have one.
Yeah,
It still doesn't.
they want to build it, but they couldn't do it during the renovation. It's the funding thing.
Right, so there's gotta be a way to like, we've had that thing.
Yeah.
For $500,000.
Okay, okay.
Helicopter in. And the site work.
Yeah.
Which is.
Okay.
It's gonna be like the state jobs. Biography, and
Mhm.
it just needs somebody to say, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
Here's the price point,
Mhm.
and now it's just. Cause it's nothing, the one back part of cinder block.
I've never been there. I've seen it. It's like, but.
Since it's, and it has those heaters that are like with the open flame.
Yeah, well.
No, like, no, definitely.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Bruce.
Discussing the Bennett Park as a comfort station.
Yeah, they.
Bennett Park comfort station.
They're right, that.
They gave
The
that
bathroom.
comfort station.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
Nothing.
I saw the construction there yesterday.
Oh, they were just ripping up the corners. So those people have a contract to do X number of corners.
Uh-huh.
Most of them already were ramps, so I'm not sure why, but they're redoing the ramp. The sad part is that most of them really didn't need replacing.
Yeah.
But
One
show on the
corner.
screen,
they
They
don't want
they
to-
were fine.
Once this contract goes, it goes.
Yeah.
Right?
They don't care.
Beautiful park.
It's,
There was some difficulties.
Yeah, difficult. If anybody can resolve it.
But if it plays here, they could hear it,
They could hear you, they might not be able to see it.
maybe.
I have a Mac laptop, if that's of any value. Maybe play it. Put it in front of the owl.
Mm. Yeah.
Here,
non-technical.
here, Paul,
Yeah.
he said I can share my screen. Might just be easier.
Bruce probably is.
What?
You're a tech
Tech.
wizard.
Not really. I was a long time ago, not anymore.
So even I wouldn't have said that. You just
I was
opened yourself up. I think Bruce could help if we need some tech help here. They got it.
Too old.
There we go.
Thank you. Good job.
It takes some
One of your
effort.
many talents.
It takes some effort. Okay,
Okay, so the reason I'm here is because, this Leonardo Delon is my son, and he passed, March 2023. He was only 15. He was a baseball player, he did a lot of things for the community. The only thing that he couldn't do was the 10 years of working because he was that young. But, he did, always try to, like, when he was going to school or coming from school and went to Bennett Park, you know, he always tried to keep it clean for the little ones so they don't fall tripping, you know, riding bicycles. He inspired a lot of his friends to lose weight and some, you know, an athlete in sports. And today, some of his friends that never played baseball are playing baseball now. One of the criteria is when I spoke to the councilwoman, Carmen de la Rosa, being that he was young and he couldn't contribute in working 10 years, she says that if we could do other things to contribute for the community. So his high school principal came up with a scholarship, which will be given. Well, last summer, they gave it to someone in PS 187 for summer baseball scholarship. This June 2026, he was supposed to graduate high school. So they're going to give the scholarship to one of the kids that graduated from 187 to continue in college. He also sent to do T-shirts. Leo, you want to show them?
yeah,
The T-shirt in the front says LD is love, and in the back, it says Leonardo Delon Scholarship 2025. And they put the books and baseball, because he was a third baseball. Oh, how do you call that?
Third baseman.
Third base.
A third base player since he was in Little League, since he was 5 years old. He was third base and he played that very well. So the high school sent to do T-shirts. If anybody would like, I bought some. So if to purchase, because every fund that we collect is going to the scholarship to somebody that graduated from 187 that's graduating high school in 2026 of June. You want to move?
Yeah.
Can they hear them?
yes, they should.
I think it's on the other one.
That's fires.
It's on the one by my too.
It should be in that one.
That's the speaking meeting of us here.
It's pretty low.
At the presentation, there's no more, I understand that what are worthy of thought. Thank you.
I don't think so. I'm sharing on the screen. I'm not sure. But try.
I'm just gonna try to, for something to give.
Yeah, yeah.
Other thing.
The bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, Fred.
Well, I think I'm pretty sorry.
Thank you. Turn off the too.
We'll try. We'll try.
Maybe a student at science, that has kind of, well, you're not, but I was also a student. I'm
Probably not of the speakers here, but not out of like.
Yeah, yeah.
That I don't know how to do.
You get to know more and understand what this.
Who is she?
What
She's one of the students in the high school that is talking about.
What is she saying?
I can't remember the whole PowerPoint,
Okay.
but
She's pretty much saying that she supports the coach. She didn't remember his name because he was a great friend and a great peer.
Okay.
Yeah, her voice isn't really coming out through the Zoom thing either. I'm hearing it over your speaker.
We get the gist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
After this presentation, we'll get to know him more and understand why his contributions to his school and community are worthy of his last applause. Thank you.
And this is a little background of Leonardo. Basically, Leonardo was born August 28th, 2007. Leonardo was born to a Dominican father and an American mother of Cuban and Spanish descent. He grew up in Washington Heights, and he was deeply involved with his community. As an athlete, he began very young. Leonardo demonstrated love for the sport. He learned to play baseball at age 3. Later excelling on the field. He also became a quarterback of his school team, PS 187, when they do the turkey ball. He was the quarterback, like, sorry. And he went to PS 187 from kindergarten to 8th grade. We also live near PS 187. We live in Fort Washington. And then basically, Leonardo had a heart of gold, beyond athlete. While known for an athletic talent, Leonardo's true gift was his kind heart and willingness to help others. He consistently went above and beyond to make the community a better place. The community impact, Leonardo helped elderly, picked up litter, and made sure his neighborhood was safe and clean. He was also a mentor to his younger students, sharing advice and offering support wherever it was needed. The legacy through his life was tragically cut short. Leonardo's influence continues to inspire those who knew him. His kindness, leadership remains a beacon of hope and inspiration of his friends, family, and community. We also adopted a bench in Fort Tryon Park. So if you walk through the path going to the cloisters, you will see his name in the bench. These are his team from high school.
Leonardo was part of. He meant a great deal to this room, baseball team, this school. And dedicated patches on the jerseys for him.
Dedicated patches as a jersey.
They dedicated the patch and they also withdrew the number 10 because he was number 10. He picked 10 because that was the day of my birthday. And the team withdrew and forever, like, the real.
Inside of them, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm like. And basically everybody's talking is trying to support the naming of the street because
Here are Ms. Escobar, Mr. Barreto.
Is it teachers?
these are teachers and the
Mr.
little
Whitman,
lady is this.
Leonardo's teachers. Would you please tell us what Leonardo meant to you?
All the others were teachers, so. I wish you could have heard that they talked very long there. And every year in his anniversary of his death, with Escobar, the coach, and the science teacher, Mr. Jesus, which the glasses on the left side here, they go to the cemetery with the whole baseball team. So, and we release balloons, we light up candles.
He was also part of the base house. Student, it's not wrong person. Should be.
Yeah, we do.
I agree with that as well. Very friendly, very kind. That's sort of the thing there about. That's the first word. So. Class.
I know what the rain happened.
Everybody back.
Yeah, they can't hear. We're gonna have to just kind of.
Here are Miss Escobar.
For the
That was a little.
full board, it can be emailed or something.
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
can play it,
Yeah,
right?
we'll play bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So Leonardo will always be remembered. We ask that you approve our street naming request so that others may be inspired by him like we were. Leonardo had a kind heart. Leonardo never disrespected anyone, including me. He was a good kid. He did a lot of impact to the community. Basically, like I said before, he couldn't work 10 years because he was so young. But like Carmen de la Rosa said, if we continue the legacy, so we're doing baseball tournaments, we've done baseball tournaments, we've given scholarships, we're gonna give another one, June of 2026. We're doing another baseball tournament, May 2nd. We did a street party. We've complied with everything that Carmen de la Rosa has told me to do. I'm hoping that you guys vote yes, so he could continue with the legacy and inspired other kids to, be healthy, do sports, get involved in things that would lead you to a good path. He also was very kind. I don't know if you have there the letters that
Yeah, it's in one of the
Yeah.
packets, so.
his friends, a lot of his friends wrote letters. His little girlfriend from high school wrote a letter. If you can see, he treated her, she felt like he treated her like a princess. He was very kind, never saw Leonardo upset. Leonardo was always giving a beautiful smile. That's one of the things that she wrote, that when he walked into a room, his smile lit up the room. He always inspired to do good. He's like me, pro-education. He, besides trying to pursue his baseball career, he was going to be an engineer. Everybody in my family has a master's or a PhD, so he was going to continue the path that I was showing him to, and he inspired his classmates to do the same thing. And his friends, all his friends have come here in the past, but today unfortunately couldn't come. His principal also supports me a lot. He's been here till midnight last year. But today they couldn't make it, so, I came to ask to please try to say yes, because his friends would like his name to be in 187 between Fort Washington and Pinehurst, where, they all went to lunch when they were in PS 187. And also his friend wrote a song, and it's in there, but you probably will not be able to hear it.
We heard it last year.
Remember?
What?
We remember?
You remember?
Last time.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
How does the scholarship program work? You're giving a scholarship to a student?
But whatever money they collect, they're gonna give the money to a student to pursue for his college.
They fundraise through a baseball tournament and through selling these shirts. And when that money gets pulled and it gets distributed to a student from 187. Yes.
Are you the chairperson of the committee?
Well, right now it's the principal, but he's gonna pass it on to me.
Okay,
Right, it's the principal, but he's gonna pass it on to me because, the class of Leonardo will graduate 2026, so he wants me to continue with it. But right now, the principal is the one that takes care of that. He gave me the t-shirts for me to sell. Whoever's interested, they're $30. You could sell me the money and I give it to the principal, and it will be given out this June when the class graduates.
is councilperson De La Rosa contributing anything to the fund?
Well, what she did promise was to, always get the permits for us to do
Oh, that's
the
good.
tournaments.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So do we need a motion?
Let's discuss and then we'll motion, unless you guys are ready to go into the vote.
Well, I'd like to have,
So one question we had is how, and it's sensitive, but how did he pass? So when we write the resolution, we vote on it or not, support it or not. We want to give as much context so that they know what's going on. I'm sorry, it's a very sensitive topic to discuss.
Unfortunately, once coronavirus hit, Leonardo got a strep throat. Went into the hospital, never came out.
That's what I remember. It was a medical condition.
So sorry.
How many brothers did he have? No, you have one here.
He has another brother. But not from me. He's just
No, yeah.
my stepson.
I,
This is from
wanna
mother
say
and father.
was Leonardo the oldest brother?
No, he's the oldest brother. So he's very traumatized too, because, it was his younger brother. They were very close, and because of Leonardo's passing, he couldn't start college, but now he started, and he's graduating June 4th of this year.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
This is a big accomplishment. Let me see if I have any hands, and then if not, we'll go straight to a vote. Bunch of questions.
Or should we hear both presentations and then vote?
No, we vote on them separate. Okay, I see.
Hi, Leo. I had a
Hey, man, I'm sorry,
question.
I see your hand, yes.
That's okay. I'm sorry to bring up the topic, but how many years does he have that he passed away?
3.
And 3?
Yeah.
Um,
3
has
today, 3 and 1 month today.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
26.
My follow-up question to that is, has the scholarship been running for as long as he has not been with us?
Yes. As
Okay.
soon as he passed, a couple of months later, the principal started the scholarship.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. Does anybody have any questions, clarifying questions of the committee? No?
I-
All right, so.
I kind of,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I kind of did, because I know that we're looking at the application for 10 years of committed services. And I know due to the fact that he's very young, that's not going to be sufficient for, I guess, to clear that in one of the points for that.
So-
Um, can you
So we had-
clarify that?
Yeah, so we had this discussion last year, and that's why we asked Estrella to remove the application. Because we didn't want to do wrong by her and push it forward and then it'd be an issue. But I think we want to set a precedent, and Jody has been a big advocate for this, that we see where the world is going. Like kids, unfortunately, are going down the wrong path. A lot of crime going on, a lot of people making bad decisions. So I think that if we take this as not only as a committee, but as a board, and say, hey, we stand by this because the kid was exemplary. I think it will show our community that when you do the right thing, when you live righteous, when you help others and you mentor, you push people to do better things, that the world recognizes that, whether you're here or not. So we might have some pushback at the general board meeting, depending on where we go, but I'm willing to take on the battle.
And I feel like the work is getting done
Yeah, and
beyond.
yeah, and to add to that,
It's like, I feel like, if I could say something, I feel like, why should we name a street, wait until somebody gets killed to name a street, instead of putting someone that has impacted the young life? His friends were the one that pushed me to do this. They want to see his name. They want him to live long.
I think that what I felt having you came before, and we had kids here, we had team here, we had teachers that responded, we have a principal that showed up at least twice.
No, every single one.
Yes.
Right,
Every single one,
and
except today.
the kid is amazing. He's also incredibly talented. And I just feel that a kid is never going to get 10 years. And every, I don't know. We put a too much emphasis on co-naming in some ways. And I believe that this kid is exemplary and would demonstrate all to every single one of you, every kid, every teammate, every family member, every teacher. I want to do it for you guys, but I also want to do it for all those kids that don't know your son. But the story is amazing, and the story can be told, and it can have a history that resonates with
Yeah.
all the kids in Washington Heights, and that's why it's important.
Is this
to
the
me.
only type of scholarship at PS 187?
Well, this scholarship is actually is made in the high school, but will be given to somebody in PS 187.
What do you mean?
So it's,
Like people that
Can you see
graduate.
that my hand is up?
Jim, give us a second, we're
Thank
still
you.
Hold on, Jim.
in
We'll
person.
get with you.
No,
So,
no, no, wait. In person does not get any precedence over board members online.
Absolutely, Jim. but
You put
Bruce-
me on the same list as everybody else.
Correct, Bruce
Thank you.
had his hand raised before you.
I'm just trying to understand.
Go ahead.
So this is a unique scholarship at PS 187 to gather kids in the school around this scholarship program, right? This is a first time effort to do this kind of thing?
The scholarship is for somebody that's gonna continue their education to college.
Right,
The-
but
the
they
funds
have to
gonna-
graduate from 187?
Right,
Yeah.
because it's the community, because it's high school,
Yeah.
not in the
So-
community.
So there, it's not like there's 20 other scholarship programs. This is like the only one.
So this scholarship comes from the high school. The principal established it under his name. She's gonna eventually take it and gift it or award it to kids from 187 direct. Right now, the principal is giving it to students who attended 187, but
yeah,
are
what
currently
I'm trying to
enrolled.
say is
at
that
the high
nobody
school.
else is doing anything like this,
Oh.
187.
I'm not sure, but I don't think so.
Principal 187, and we're trying to work with the PTA to start
No, no.
something.
That's not my question. It's like,
Okay.
there's not 5 other scholarships like this. This is the one and only.
I believe so.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay,
It's special.
yes.
Let me allow Daryl. He had his hand raised, then Jim,
No,
and then Sonia.
Jim.
All right, Jim. They see the floor to you.
Thank you. I have a bunch of points. Number one, if, concerning this 10-year, and I think we discussed this last time, if it's impossible, then it's a silly requirement and we will ignore it. And I'm sure the city council will ignore it too. That's one piece. And I'm basically gonna reiterate what several people said. But if you look at co-namings, these streets are always named obviously after people who have made great contributions and stuff. But inevitably, as someone sort of said, or maybe they didn't, they're old and kids need heroes of their own. And so, as has been said so eloquently by several of you, of course, including Leo's mother, that's all the more reason that I think this is a wonderful idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Let me allow Sonia, and then I'll come back to you. Hi, Sonia.
Hola, everyone. I have two questions. Firstly, how long does a naming of a street last? Is it? I don't think it's a forever
Yeah,
thing.
it's a forever thing. Yeah, it's once it goes up there, we honor as a.
As long as the sign hangs on the pole.
Yeah.
So it can't be changed thereafter.
Well,
So
no.
there's no time limit. I mean, it's like
The answer is it's there forever, and if the sign falls down, you can get a new sign.
with the same name.
Obviously.
Yep.
Well, Jim, I don't think it's obviously because things have time limits. So that's why I'm asking.
Well, streets, well, actually, street names can change. Let me just finish if you don't mind, because I've been doing this for years and years. Street names can change. Then the other thing is, they can be co-named. And one thing this board has never done, and I don't think we have, and then is put two co-names on the same corner. But on the other hand, let's say there's some new person comes along and this is the corner that ought to have their name on it. That just makes the corner even more important and honorable. And it wouldn't change, the earlier co-name would also be there. And the other piece of it, the practical point, is the post office has no problem with this because the original street name is there. But as Leo sort of said, we name a street, and especially when we honor people, that name is permanent. There are streets named after numerous people in our district, particularly in Inwood, who died on 9/11. And there's a street corner near me who's named after Alex Rose, not Axel, Alex. And he started the Liberal Party, which in its heyday was an absolutely wonderful political entity. So as you know, the street names are forever. I mean, let's say we find out someone was the axe murderer. Well, then we'll, but you know. So I hope that clarified things. Thank you.
It does. Thank you, Jim. And then my second question is there a way of putting, I don't know, a small plaque by these street name poles so that individuals can know the history behind the name? Especially if it's a forever thing.
That's a question for Lyle from DOT.
I mean, these days you can Google the name.
I'm sure it's him.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, I don't think you can.
There's no
Because it's
QR
certain
codes
public-
on the street.
No.
name
But you can put a
itself.
sticker or something if you really want to. Lyle, can you just respond to that, just to clarify?
In regards to the plaque,
Yes.
I don't think that DOT would be okay with the plaque essentially, well, it's not considered city property. Maybe if there were a maintenance partner that were to take care of that plaque, it might be a different situation. But usually, DOT would stamp on co-names, not necessarily on additional pieces of furniture that would not be city owned or maintained, if that helps.
You could plaque a QR code
Yeah.
on the pole
Oh, that's right.
and everybody would know.
Yeah.
And DOT would
Everybody
not,
could read the.
just don't tell DOT.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to have a
Yeah.
QR code there so that people can, scan it and figure out why is the street named by that
Yeah.
person's name.
Like if there was a
All right,
Wikipedia
Jim, one more
page
question, we'll
created.
close out this app.
Oh,
I'm not trying to be, oh, sorry, Daryl. Let me let Jim just,
Okay,
and then
he's not
we'll
done?
close. Jim.
Well,
Go
I
ahead,
just
Jim.
wanted to second one of the points that was just made by our representative from DOT. The street sign is actually a real city street sign, and your tax money and your DOT is going to maintain it. This plaque is another story, and I think that was what he was particularly talking about. So if there was some way to maintain the plaque, DOT might approve. But as he sort of said also, or maybe he did, you can't just hang things on poles. You need permission. And the other piece of the QR code is there has to be a website that it points to.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's a wonderful idea because a lot of times you look up, like if you weren't as old as I am, you might go, Alex Rose, what a nice name, but it doesn't say who he was. And in fact, he was quite, thank you.
All right, thanks, Jim.
So
Darryl,
my question, and
what's going on?
I don't have the resolution from me. Is this specifically going on the corner above the triangle, right?
Not above the triangle. Is that right on for Washington? 187
okay.
going up to the triangle,
Okay.
going.
Oh,
187
okay.
between Fort Washington, I guess it would be right on for Washington, 187, going up between Pinehurst.
So is that in front of Hilltop or in front of
It will be,
Kismet?
well, it'd be Hilltop because in front of the.
It's got to be on a corner.
Hold on, Jim.
They don't have a pole in front of the Indian restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I was thinking that other corner by the triangle because it's if people from 187 pass by there more frequently, that's why.
Pinehurst, Cabrini.
Right, Sabrina, is that?
Yeah.
It'll be, yeah, it's true, it'll be confusing. So we're gonna do it right there on 187 and for Washington going towards Pinehurst.
Okay.
Because that's where the strip where they used to go out for lunch.
Yeah, the pizza place.
Right,
Yeah,
and then
that's
if
good.
they, on the weekends, they play baseball
So-
in the courtyard, that's where they used to.
Yeah.
play all-
Excuse me.
Yes, Jim?
Once again, you're treating people on Zoom as a secondhand citizen. You guys are just talking back and forth, and when I try to say anything, I was told to essentially shut up. The point is, and I believe it's clear, but I want to make sure it's clear, the sign is only put at a street corner. That's what gets renamed. They will not put a sign in the middle of the block. So at some point,
No one said.
Thank you, Jim.
Can I move we adopt?
Yes, let's move to go votes. Okay, we'll start with committee, then we'll go with public members, and then we'll go with Alan, who's a lone board member joining us. Jody?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, Noemi?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes.
Jim?
yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Fred? Yes. I say yes, and Anne,
Yes.
yes. Okay, this resolution passes at committee. We'll present it as best as we can at the board. I encourage you to come to the general.
When is
board.
the general building?
It's the
Is it
last
Tuesday of the month?
Last Tuesday of the
yeah,
month, correct.
usually.
It's the 28th.
The 28th?
28th
Yeah.
at 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m.
6:30
Yeah.
Columbia.
in Columbia, in 218th Street?
No, the
Oh, is it-
Hammer Building, right?
Oh,
The address?
we're going up there again.
I think it's a Hammerstein, but just check in with the officer with me and I'll let you know. But it should be the
It's on
Hammerstein.
website.
It should be on the website now. Yeah.
But it should be, and I encourage you to bring his brother, coaches, anybody, just for the public session.
The principal will be there.
And bring some T-shirts to sell.
I
Yeah.
have right there if you guys.
No, but
want
to the general meeting.
Oh, to the general meeting.
Yeah.
That's today if you guys want.
much are they?
I have them. They're $30.
We'll get you guys on the side. We'll move on with the agenda.
Yeah.
Can I have the members?
Oh, yes, give me one second.
And thank you so much, because I remember the last time you were ready to say yes and,
Yeah.
but there wasn't time.
No, I think it's really important and I'm really happy and
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all so much.
It sounds like Carmen will smooth it over with the council members and.
Yes,
You don't have to worry
hopefully.
about that part.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate.
I
Thank
think
you.
that that's a key thing is that you gotta have Carmen on
Yeah.
board.
Yes, well, I did speak to her several times
Okay,
and she's the one that told me to do tournaments.
yeah,
You
I
know,
think that's.
the
helpful.
scholarship was already done without Carmen saying because the principal right away.
Well, I think it's gonna help, yeah.
There you go.
Where can we find the QR code now?
Oh, the QR code, I don't have a QR code for that.
For donations? No.
No, the donation is, you could sell it and then I give the money to the principal.
Okay, if you guys want to touch bases.
Yeah.
Well, how you guys step out for a bit, so we can move on. All right, we have one more street code naming application. Similar situation, Roy Koshi came in, for Donetta Riley, who was a teacher in our community at 187, actually, our teacher. And we welcome him back. Roy, the floor is yours.
So thanks for having me back again this year. So I'm here to fill this application of the street naming for Donetta Riley at the corner of 185th Street and Fort Washington and along the southwest corner right by the playground. So Donetta Riley passed away in March 20th, 2024. So Donetta was an essential part of the Washington Heights and Upper Manhattan community through 4 different ways. Running the Music Together program up here, which is like a mommy and me music program. Teaching art classes, and one of the places that she taught was actually at PS 187. When they didn't have an art program, she was recruited to teach that class. Birthday parties. She ran her own birthday party business, and so she did a lot of different birthday parties for different community different children, obviously, and different people, actually, adults too. And she also volunteered her time and art and skills and passion at various community events, including Spring in the Heights and including the Harvest Fest and various other events that you may have seen in Fort Tryon or Inwood or other parts of the city, as well as, Angela Fernandez, who's on the call. There was an immigrant coalition that Angela Fernandez ran, and she did volunteer work for a lot of vulnerable folks who Angela was supporting. Okay, so why am I doing this? It's not just because she was my spouse. It's not just sentimental. She had a massive impact on this community for, to this day, about 20 years, long after she's passed away even. So she moved here in 1997. She started running the Music Together program here in 2006. And I just want to, I'll just read a couple testimony. The testimony, you may have read this already, but I'm just going to read a couple things. One quote from Gretchen Cohan. Her son described Donetta this way: "She is always nice and kind and sweet, but she also knows how to lead and teach and guide people to make art. She's a really good person. She is inspiring. She is everything you would want to be. You want to be like her. She's incredible." And I just want to read this other anecdote from Nori Kuriyama, who is a board member of Friends of 187, a former board member of Friends of 187, That's the organization that recruited Donna to do the art class at 187. She talked about how, her favorite class being when Donetta was teaching kids about Michelangelo. And she had the kids get under the desks and draw pictures on the bottom of their desks as if they were Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. And so she's giving kids an opportunity to experience what it must have been like for Michelangelo to work on the ceiling frescoes of the Sistine Chapel. And she would also go under the desk and do the same. And it was so amazing to witness the kids experience the full joy of making art in the classroom with her. So Donetta trained as an actor and a singer and an artist on her own, coming to New York City, as many of us do, to make a career here in that world, And she did have some success there. And but what she ended up doing, and why it's important to honor her in this neighborhood and in this community is that she channeled the integrity and the she channeled the integrity of her artistry in service of everyone else, in service of children and their education. Because since she passed away, whenever I walk through this neighborhood, I do have parents coming up to me telling me about the impact that she had on their children. I have parents telling me that, my child was afraid to talk. They didn't want to express themselves. And now they sing all the time because of Donetta. Because Donetta shared that skill and imbued that inspiration for singing and creation within them. Same with like art classes, a lot of the art classes were very immersive. There was one art class during the pandemic where she actually hid rocks throughout Fort Tryon and had the students on their own do a bit of a scavenger hunt with these rocks. And so plenty of parents and, children who are now grown up have talked about how, they, just wouldn't really think about these things until she inspired a love for art in them and inspired a way of looking at art in a different way than they would have normally worked, different way beyond just being a consumer. And quite frankly, the point is not so much that everyone who took a class with her is going to go become an artist or a musician. It doesn't really, whatever they do in life, the fact of the matter is that Donetta's legacy was making sure that they could connect to that potential in themselves, that they could see the artist in themselves, see the musician in themselves, tap into that part of themselves that they wanted to express and be confident in their voice to express it. So she created this space for all these children. And again, it's about almost 20 years up until her passing. So it's generations of children now from when they were babies, because it was just in me class were babies to 4 years old, to the elementary program at PS 187 and the art classes there, as well as the various birthday parties. So it wasn't so much just want to highlight the birthday parties for a second. It wasn't so much throwing on a costume and entertaining and then going home, collecting your cash. She would build complete worlds with these birthday parties. And she was a professional balloon artist as well. And that was something that she discovered later in life. And she excelled at that incredibly. And she brought those skills to everything she did. So the events in the community, whether advocating for the children of immigrants, or just like the Harvest Fest, she would share that and she would make sure that each balloon was special. She basically would really in detail, and I just know this because I saw her spend hours doing this at home too, spent hours trying to build a special experience for each child. So, and again, the reason I think it's important to name a street corner after her in this neighborhood is because of the lasting legacy that we had. I mean, New York City and this neighborhood as well. So it's full of different people. It's full of a lot of creative people. But it's also full of teachers, nurses. It's anyone who works for a living. And to be able to imbue in generations of children a connection to their own voice, to know that no one should shut you down, that your voice and what you have to offer is incredibly special, is really, really important, especially in the times that we live in right now. So that's I'm all over the place and I'm sorry. It's still to this day, just hard for me to harness a lot of my own experience since she's passed away. So, that's, what I have to say. If you want to still, if you want to say anything, you don't.
Yeah, if you stand up and just say your name for the record.
So a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, you can come forward.
Also, just a lot of people are out of town right now who submitted testimonials, so a lot of people cannot be here tonight. It's like the DOE.
Yeah, and I received an email from a community resident by advocating for this application. I can forward that as well. I received it.
My name is Sonia, and I reside at the Cabrini houses along with Roy and my good neighbor and friend Milagro. And another neighbor of ours who could not be here this evening because she's 83 years old and also has mobility issues. But Donata, she was like an angel, to be honest with you. My father used to say, you know who your friends are when you are in two places, either in a hospital bed or in a prison. I remember being sick. I remember it like yesterday. I was ill. And I told, in passing in the hallway, I told Donata, I'm sick, I don't feel well. Oh, I said, I have stomach issues. Went home, laid down. In the afternoon at 4, Donata came, knocked on my door. She brought me the most beautiful bouquet of flowers and medicine, over-the-counter medicine. And you know what? It worked. And she was there. She was always asking, how are you? What can I do? Even in her final days, when Donata didn't even have any hair. I remember walking around with an oxygen tank. What, if you need anything, let me know. Look at her condition. But she also visited my friend Milagro. Her husband suffered a stroke for 5 years. And Donata would routinely go upstairs to the 6th floor, knock on her door, and see what she needed. Donata was always there. She was a friend, but to me, she was an angel. I could only aspire to be a fourth of what Donata was to us. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mila Angela Fernandez. Hey, Angela.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much. My name is Angela Fernandez. I live here in Community Board 12. I was the executive director for Northern Manhattan Coalition for Immigrant Rights for 10 years. And Donetta volunteered her time with us many times. We would host events, and we always wanted to pay her because we had money in the budget to pay for these kinds of events. And she always said no. She really she would refuse the payment and excuse me, and bring a lot of joy to a lot of immigrant children. So I wanted to share that. I also wanted to share that while Roy and I were door knocking to get signatures for this petition, many times the door would open, we would say who the name Donetta Riley was, and the parent or the teenage child would know exactly who we were talking about. So that just goes to show you the impact that Donetta has had in the community. And one final note, I remember when Donetta reached out to me because she had been working with someone and had learned about their status, and they also had a medical complication. So this person was in a very difficult situation, and we were able to help them with their immigration status and help regularize them. And I keep sharing that as an example that Donetta was just constantly going out of her way to help people, and I think that if this co-naming can happen, it would be a very significant symbol, a visual that we can all see to continue remember her by. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Okay, do we have any questions or comments from the committee?
What street is this?
It's on the southwest corner of 185th Street and 4 Washington Avenue. Yes.
Was there a significance to that intersection or?
Yes, thank you for asking. Yes, so Donetta taught a lot of her classes at the Hebrew Tabernacle, which is like on the north side of 185th Street. And she also taught a lot of classes at Hudson View Gardens. So I wanted to just find a section of this neighborhood where like she did a lot of her work. And also the fact that it's like right by the playground as well. And because so much of her work was focused on children and the education and the development of children.
And I guess for Lyle, he's with DOT.
Yeah, that was,
There's no parks issue here, right?
No, I
It's
think
next to,
Lyle, you can clarify, but I think it should be all right.
okay.
Think it should be okay.
185 has a regular.
Yeah, it's a regular.
Regular
Yeah.
street.
And just like we asked Estrella, what was it? What happened to her that she passed?
She passed away from cancer. She passed away from, yeah.
All right. Any other comments? So we'll move to a vote. Jody?
Sounds like an angel, yes.
Noemi?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Leo, yes.
Yes.
And I want to apologize to Sonia. I didn't ask her for a vote for Estrella, but Sonia, I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place this month, last month.
Am I allowed to vote if I'm not a committee member?
Yes, it goes towards, and Jim can add on to this, but it would just go for the record.
Okay, yes, on both counts.
Okay.
He's a member of the board.
Ty is here, Ty, sorry I didn't ask you previously.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And yes, on the last one too.
Yes, Sonia is a member of the board and Ty is a member. of the board.
Then they count as board members, and then of course you can poll the public also, but they definitely get to vote as board members.
That's what I asked. The general public, on both, since I didn't get us to be either on the general public.
Yes, don't forget to say stuff.
Yes, yes, consensus, hands up, hands raised. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this passes as well at the committee. We'll present it as best as we can at the board. I encourage you to bring as many people as possible for a public session. I just advocate for this, but I don't see it.
That's April 28th.
April 28th at 6:30. I don't know the location. Like, I know we tried something
Check the
different last night.
website. Check the website.
Someone, the Hammerstein building is on 168th and Fort Washington, if we go to that building. But again, as a board, we're trying to go to different places to give an avenue to people who don't usually come to our meetings. So I'm not sure if they changed locations this month, but I can use with you guys too.
Check the website the day before.
The website.
Okay? Then we're moving on from Coach Streeter. I'm glad you guys came back. I'm glad we were able to
Thank you all.
honor them and discuss it. I know last year was a little tough.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on. MTA, I didn't see Alberto. I know that he's been busy. Alberto's not online. We had a gentleman with an MTA question. Let me see if he wants to ask the question, and then I'll relay it to Alberto. The guy, is Michael? Michael, you still online? No, he's not. Okay. Alberto's not here, which is rare. He always attends our meeting, but does anybody have any concerns with MTA at the moment? We can always reach out on our own.
I have a question. Maybe you've addressed this. I'm still new to this committee, but the bus signs, where it says like the time.
Wayfinding sign?
Yeah, they're not on. The ones I see, and I'm thinking the main ones I see are in Wadsworth and down here.
So if you can give me, whenever you see it, just give me a list and shoot me an email. I'll connect you with Alberto. He's pretty good. I'll at least do a pretty good job at following up with certain things. And Alberto is excellent. You guys can test it.
I mean, they are supposed to be working.
Yeah, they should
right?
be working.
Okay.
They should be working. It should be. It's weird. I'll give you.
Sorry.
It's weird. A lot of those signs are powered by DOT, so it could be a DOT thing. It could be. It depends. It might be some work that instructed it, but we'll ask.
Kind of.
I have a question. I was parked legally, right, on Fort Washington in front of the building 500.
Mhm.
And the bus, this happened to me twice already. The bus passes and gives me a ticket, legally parked, not double parked. Can we find out why this happening?
Are you near a bus stop?
No, we're across before the bus stop. Cause I was parked between 181st and 183rd. And when you cross 183rd is the bus stop. So why, I go and fight it and I win it, but it's very annoying to have to take a day off for work.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's automatic, so not sure why that's happening.
The lead part.
Yeah,
And
not
if
sure.
that happens, I could understand, that happened to me before, I was right in front of Bennett Park, right before the bus stop. And I got the ticket and I figured, well, because he's coming out of the bus stop, that's the first car there. Okay, so I went for it and won it. But being parked without a bus stop is already.
I'm not sure. I would.
Twice already.
Next time he's here, I'll ask him. I'm not too sure why. Go
My
ahead.
comment
Sorry.
relates to both your comments. Can 311 be helpful in situations like this? Can you call 311 and protest?
I mean, you can
You know,
always
report a
file.
sign.
That's a good.
Yeah, you can always report it. It helps. You have a paper trail. With her situation, it's a little different.
Yeah.
That you have to go to court and figure it out. I can ask Alberto to see what's going on. I'm sure you're not the only isolated incident. With you, we could just report it to 311 or ask Alberto to take care of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Alberto take care of it.
I mean, does the ticket say something? Because oftentimes when the ticket is issued to you.
Yes, it says, parked in a bus stop and I'm not at the bus stop. I'm
Okay.
right in front of 500 for Washington. And the bus stop is crossing 183rd. And I could understand the one in front of Bennett Park because the bus is leaving and that was the very last car. So I stopped parking there because I was annoyed of getting those tickets. And then I parked in the other where there's no bus stop and still get a ticket.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, I've won them. Didn't have to pay them, but it's annoying to have to go.
Yeah.
You might be able to fight them by mail, check the back of the ticket. Your odds are just as good as winning by mail as they are in person.
Oh, okay.
You can always appeal it.
Yeah, we'll ask. I'll ask Alberto and see what's going on. Jim?
And I had another.
Thank you. The point is very simple. If she's not at a bus stop and legally parked, she should not be getting a ticket. And that simply means the automatic system is not working right. And that system is run by the MTA. It's on the buses. It's got to be fixed. So reach out to our MTA representative and point this out, because otherwise this is just harassment. You know, if she's legally parked, it's part of their responsibility not to issue tickets to, people who don't deserve them. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. You had a comment?
Yeah, I had another question. Maybe you've addressed this again in the past, but 168, when the A train is, running, usually in the past, I've lived up here 25 years, but it just used to treat 168 like any other stop. Now it stops there for sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 10, sometimes longer. Is there a reason?
Look, we could ask. I'm not so sure why. We can ask.
Sometimes not,
We can ask Alberto and see if there's a specific reason for it. I'm not
Yeah,
so sure.
but it's only literally been the last 2 years. It wasn't like this before.
We'll ask Alberto. It's all right.
It's just, obviously, if she is kind enough to send you her tickets, they'll know which bus, obviously by the stamp time. So that'll speed things up, obviously it's automated, and I'm gonna guess that the A train's starting to get on schedule. And if you stay there a long time, that means they shedded one, I mean, they're like catching up, you're staying the maximum time. It always seemed to me like I'm staying there between 60 and 90 seconds. But I'm pretty sure it's to recalibrate the schedule. Might be wrong.
We have to pay.
We'll inquire. I think Alberto, he'll give us some answers, so we'll ask. Okay, I have one more question. Allegra. Hey, Allegra.
Hi, yes. So I know I'm not asking about the buses now. I'm going to ask about the Omni. Like, I know that I've complained about the Omni cards and the way it's working for our school kids before, and apparently this is much more widespread there's a group of kids in Queens who have like they got some press coverage in Gothamist talking about how flimsy the Omni cards are, how easily they come apart. They often don't work, how long it takes to get them reissued. Other very highly problematic things like kids who are special education kids with related services that guarantees them door-to-door bus transportation. They're not allowed to have Omni cards, so they're not allowed to do after school or weekend activities like their non-IEP peers, which I think that's probably discrimination. It's probably not legal. Somebody can take them to court, but I'm not a lawyer. And also issues with kids who live within half a mile of their school who don't technically qualify for the Omni cards, and so they're also disallowed from doing weekend and after school activities. So I was just hoping that we could engage the conversation here about Omni cards in schools, them being problematic, kids facing, this trade-off, like being vilified. Like we've got these stupid glass gates everywhere vilifying our teens for like fare beating, but a lot of them legit have to make that hard choice. Like I'm going to miss school because my Omni card's not working, but I'm entitled to this ride to get to school. And so they do like whatever, they jump the gates, but I don't even think it should be considered to be fare beating because those kids are entitled to it. I'd like to have a conversation about Omni cards. I still don't understand why our school kids actually need Omni cards. Like why, if you're under 18, let's just like wrap it all up and say under 18, you get to go through for free. So I was hoping that we could have a little bit of engagement about Omni cards discriminating against special ed kids, discriminating against kids based on where they live, and also not working. And someone is paying for that and having this, spending so much money on these stupid fare beating things, and they are just criminalizing an activity that really, most the kids they are allowed to get to school on our subway system. Like that's their right. So can we engage about that? Thanks.
So we'll save all the conversations MTA will allow us here. We can discuss, but I think we won't get too far. I would recommend you, Allegra, to go to attend the Youth and Education Committee and bring this up. I don't disagree. I did not know certain things that you mentioned. Definitely bring it up to them, and then we might be able to discuss a joint resolution with Youth and Education. Okay, with that being said, since Alberto's not here, we're gonna move on. I have taken notes of your concerns. I'll bring it to him, and hopefully he can attend next month. He didn't give me a reason this month. We're gonna go to the DOT updates. So we're allowed to provide us updates, and then we'll ask our questions on our end. And I saw Sonia, you have a question, so I'll allow after Lau gives his updates. Go ahead, Lau.
Okay, evening everyone. Al Blogger from DOT. I guess just to answer a few of the questions that were asked just recently. So number one, in regards to I guess is referred to as the wayfinders by bus stops. Those are referred to as, I guess, real-time passenger information kiosks. Those I think they fall under DOT's jurisdiction. So if there's a location that you have, you can send that to me, Leo, and I can forward that to my colleagues for them to fix it.
Okay.
In regards to the concern about the ticket, it sounds like that is part of the ACE camera program. So just very quickly, if there's a vehicle that's idling in a bus stop, or if two buses pass a vehicle that's in the way of a bus route, if it's on an ACE qualified bus, then the vehicle would be eligible to get a ticket. If the driver feels that the ticket was unfair, and there are instances where, the cameras could be wrong, every ticket can be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So if someone feels that the ticket needs to be contested, it can be. And if it's found that there are issues with the ticket that was issued, it can be reversed or removed. So if there are other concerns, I hope isn't lost. It can be fought and overturned if there's sufficient evidence that proves that the vehicle in question did not do what the ticket says. So I just wanted that to be out there. Just in case anybody had additional questions about those two. Now in regards to the updates I have, first, as I'm sure you've seen around the neighborhood, in regards to milling and resurfacing, our crew is currently in CB12. We've been up there for the past few weeks, and we'll continue to be up in CB12 for this current week as well. This week, we will continue to be in Inwood, on Dykeman Street, Vermilion, and around the 207th Street, Isham Street area. I sent a list of the locations to the community board. Usually I send a list of the North Manhattan locations I cover to the community boards. I cover for as long as we're uptown, so everyone can plan accordingly and prepare ahead of time. Just so that everyone's aware when we're on a given street, flyers should be posted usually 24 hours in advance. And it's usually from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That the street should be cleared. But like I said, usually there's advance notice that, well, we should give advance notice. And like I said, I've given those Northern Manhattan locations to the board. So I think some flyers have been sent out that the board's created in order to alert the community of those locations, and I'll continue to do so as long as we're in Northern Manhattan. Next, as far as, well, there are a few things, I guess, in the same area. The lights by the Rockies Dog Run. I'm not sure if anybody's seen, those lights are actually installed, and the job was completed late last week. So there should be some newer, brighter lights in that area as requested. We know it's taken a long time in order for that project to be done. But as of, I think, the end of last week, I received word that it's complete. So there should be new lights in operation by the dog run as we speak. Continuing in the same area, the staircase for Riverside Drive and West 160th Street. That's also being currently repaired by DOT to make this safer for pedestrians. And while we're working in that area, we're also taking a closer look at the staircase to determine if any additional work needs to be done in order for it to be eligible for capital work. I know that's been a question that the community boards had and a cause for concern. So we're looking at the staircase as we're doing the work. So if there's any deeper issue, we'll alert the community board and we'll prepare next steps as needed if we need to. Next, I know that we've had many conversations about the viaduct. I know that there was a request for a full request for the contract. That information has been given to Councilmember Bray's office. He's received the contract for the viaduct after we met last month. They had mentioned that they would share that information with the community board. So if you haven't already, his office should have that. Also in regards to bike lane projects that we have. So we have some upcoming ones in the neighborhood. We've given you presentations on Cabrini Boulevard by 181st, 182nd. The Riverside Drive Dykeman area between Broadway and Staff Streets. And upcoming work on Amsterdam Avenue in regards to the presentation we presented last month. We're aiming to begin installation for all those projects, ideally sometime in the spring. So hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll start to see some installations for bike lanes and some other amenities that we had come to the board to present over the past few months. And we also have an update on the Riverside Drive 165th proposal / upcoming project. That location is scheduled for milling and resurfacing sometime later in the spring. After that, we should be able to get the ball rolling on working on those traffic and pedestrian safety upgrades for the intersection. So as you can see, we have a lot of things coming to the community board pretty much in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for some more information as far as its installations. We'll be handing out flyers and additional information as time draws closer for these projects. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that so we are moving forward on these. I know it's taken a while for a bunch of these, but hopefully you've all been seeing some of the improvements around the neighborhood, and we'll continue to do some as the spring progresses. So just wanted to let you guys know what was going on. And I guess just a question for you guys. In regards to the letter of support from last month's presentation in regards to Amsterdam Avenue, I know that the board had approved it. I just wanted to see if there was any update on the letter of support. I know my colleagues are waiting for that, just to see what the community board has to say as far as, just the resolution, to see if there are any adjustments, anything that we can pretty much accommodate as far as the resolution that the board wants to send. So that is it for me for this month.
Okay, Lyle, so I'm allowed Joan to lead.
No, Lyle, I think that resolution passed, right, at the community board this month. So probably it's not too long before you'll get it, right?
Yeah, it should be going on probably end of this week.
Okay. Just wanted to see if we had an update. I know that my colleagues have been working to get the ball rolling on moving forward. Again, we have some more milling and resurfacing to do. Amsterdam is included on that list as well. So in the next few weeks, you'll be seeing our crews over there. Once that project or that stretch is milled and resurfaced, we should be able to move forward with that project as well. So like I said, a lot of stuff coming from the community board, probably in the next 2 to 3 months, I would say.
Yeah, that's a biggie. I'm excited about the fact that that's moving forward. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask just 2 more things and then?
No, go ahead and then and Bruce
I'm-
will go.
It was a little
Sorry.
fast for me, so I'm not sure I caught it. Can you explain to me that you have where the contract is for the viaduct?
The
Whatever
council member should have it, Councilmember Abreu, was,
Okay.
yeah. So so his office should have it. So I'm not sure if he's given it to the community board, but his office has received it, and they said that they would pass it along to you.
Okay.
Yeah, Councilmember Brady forwarded us the contract.
Yeah.
Okay, good to hear.
Okay. And just no further updates as far as the viaduct, as far as access, emergency access. I know it still doesn't look real good, Lyle. I mean, do you have anything on that?
I mean, we've been having conversations with FDNY and emergency services just to verify that. Like I said, we've heard otherwise from both agencies. So we were having consistent conversations just to make sure that there are no issues as far as emergency or curbside vehicle access. I haven't heard anything. I think I know we're going through those conversations. I'm trying to see if we can get something concrete as far as FDNY's final verdict. But nothing new to report here. But yeah, we are having those conversations with FDNY Emergency Services in order to confirm that they're not having any issues. If they are, then we'll let you know and we'll try to make adjustments as needed. But to this point, I think I mentioned this in previous meetings. We haven't heard any concerns from their end, but like I said, we've reached out to them just to essentially quadruple check that that's the case. So, if anything new comes from that, I'll pass it along as we hear from them.
I had a meeting with Lyle and my Hamburg Commissioner Daniel Zuckerman. We're planning on having an on-site visit with Hamburg Commissioner Lyle and potentially the DOT Commissioner. So stay tuned for that. That's in the works, and Lyle, I know that we said we were gonna keep it under wraps, but just wanted to. Things are moving on the back end. It might not seem at the surface level, but we're making progress.
Okay. I just don't see the emergency access from my perspective, but I really would prefer to defer to somebody else that lives on the site than me. And
That's fine.
I mean, is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Lyle, I live in River Arts and I walk the site many days and find that there are cars parked perpendicular, and I mentioned this at last month's meeting, perpendicular to Riverside Drive West, right there. And I, on many occasions, have called 311. On some occasions, it's been an NYPD car that's actually blocking the emergency entrance, which is the only entrance to a fire hydrant for the southernmost building of the 3-building complex that is River Arts. It happens almost every day. So that's the update on that.
Now you might want to talk to the 33rd precinct. They're not making you guys look good.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I know that the 33rd tends to have traffic crossing guards and stuff usually on a regular basis, but I mean that's essentially no standing. I know we have, like I said, I've mentioned we have the loading zone space behind on 60th on Lower Riverside, which should be cleared. And any, standing sections of that area along the curb should be cleared, and like I said,
So
with the
they're not.
exception of the vehicles, yeah. I'll reach out to the 33rd precinct to see if they have any concerns and to see what's going on down there. I can do
Well,
that.
please ties into those conversations. They can't have concerns if they're blocking emergency access. So
Yeah.
when you reach out to them, loop me in. I'll give
Yeah,
them.
I
I'll
was
give
gonna
them,
say we'll have a conversation about that, Leo. If anything, maybe we'll do that together.
Yeah.
So-
Let me let Anna and Jody and then we'll go.
So, last month's meeting, our chairman Leo asked you, Lyle, that whenever DOT comes to the site, he said, let us, me, Bruce and Jody know so that we can walk it with you. On, March 25th, about a dozen DOT reps showed up on the site and walked the entire site. I went out to, have a chat with them and without, I didn't disturb them. I didn't ask what they were doing, but there was one gentleman there who answered his phone. It was Paul from Bridges. I don't know who the other people were, but the point is, I thought we had an agreement that we would be notified when DOT was going to walk the site, and it's not happening.
That might be something internal. I wasn't aware that there were DOT reps on site. Like I said, that might be an internal meeting with our Bridges division just to monitor what's going on there currently. As Leo mentioned, there is something at some point later on in the spring. We had agreed that we were going to go on site to have this conversation and walk the area. So that's separate and apart. Like I said, that wasn't a public meeting. My guess is that was an internal DOT meeting with our Bridges division just to monitor and assess the current situation on site. But yeah, the plan is to have a wider conversation with a few of the residents on site. I would say in the next coming weeks. So there will be opportunity for us to have this conversation on site.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And on March 17th, I got confirmation that the DOT had received the proposal that we sent to open up the section that is completed in front of River Arts so that we could get rid of that bridge to nowhere and allow safe access to our building to emergency vehicles. So DOT has had that proposal in their hands at least from the 17th, possibly before, that came from Councilman Abreu's office. And I wonder if you could update us on that.
I think that's still under review with our Bridges division. I don't have any new updates for tonight's meeting. I can see where we stand with that. I know that, like I said, this has been an issue for the community. And there are a lot of things that we can and can't do based on the current situation by the viaduct. In regards to that letter, I'll reach out to my colleagues in our Bridges division to see if there are any new updates. But hopefully that, along with the walkthrough, should be able to allay some of the concerns that some of the residents have. So,
You know when the walkthrough will be?
Still
Okay.
There's no set date yet, but basically as the weather gets better, it'll be a lot easier to do. So, I would say probably sometime in the next month. But like I said, I can finalize it with the community board and put it in the calendar fairly soon and keep you posted. I'd say probably by the next community board meeting, we should have an answer as far as a date if that hasn't already taken place. So
I found out where in whose hands that proposal is. It's not a letter, Lyle. It's an 8-page proposal. Would it be helpful if I let you know whose hands it is in?
If you have a name, I can follow up with them. That's sure.
Yeah, Lyle, if you can
Perfect.
just follow up and let us know what's going on with the proposal to be considered. Just give us some type of update, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
A proposal specifically. Jody, let me allow you to finish and then I'm gonna allow James, Sony, and then I have the gentleman in the back as a.
So just 3 other things, Lyle, just to update. Do you have any information on the study that's requested for the 158th Street intersection that was a resolution was written in 2024.
Yeah, we're having internal conversations with our colleagues that had met with the committee a few years ago, so our pedestrian projects group and a few others. So we're trying to see if we can flesh out the original proposal and see if we can come back to the community board with something new. I'm not sure as to the time frame, but like I said, we've been having conversations on our end to see how we can move that forward. So stay tuned as far as that. We probably wouldn't have anything new to share for a little bit, but those conversations are taking place on our end. So as information on that becomes more forthcoming, I'll pass it along to you. But nothing to report now, but believe me, we're having conversations on our end to see how we can move some things forward over there.
I'll add to that. I had a sit down with Danielle and Lyle, and we reviewed and went through the previous proposal that we rejected at the committee. So they tried a couple years ago. We didn't like what we saw. Bruce was a part of it. Jim was a part of it. Fred might have been president. I think Jordan, you were
Twenty,
at
it was 2020
and
proposal.
yeah, we told them to send it back, and they've, in good faith, come back and have made some changes with what we wanted to see. So they're working on it, and they should be
But
coming.
there
hopefully.
also is a community proposal that they received in 2025 that incorporates a lot of the community's opinions and suggestions and recommendations that were also given to DOT. And I know Kyle has a copy, and we'd love to have some of those being included in the review.
Yeah, based off of the proposal that was sent over, as well as the meeting that we had with you guys and the council member last year. All of that we've taken under consideration. We haven't forgotten that, and we're trying to see what we can incorporate from those in order to come up with a newer proposal to send in front of the committee. Like I said, I don't have a date. It's gonna take a while. Like I said, in order to conduct studies, in order to do measurements, that sort of thing. It's gonna take a while, but like I said, we're having those conversations on our end, and as information comes through that's new, like I said, I'll pass it along to you as it comes in. But like I said, we haven't forgotten. We're working on something, just nothing specific to mention yet. But hopefully, the next couple of months we'll have some more information for you.
Okay, and then one other thing, I know that DSNY and New York City Parks have been working with you for the past year, and it's the embankment from 158 to 165, and have been attempting to communicate to sort of get you to coordinate on that effort with them. They want clearing in order to continue to do a joint cleaning and maintenance and landscaping of that area. And the majority of that area is under your jurisdiction. Have you been able to, we've been sort of working on this since 2024. And I know that there was a huge garbage dumping, illegal littering, a huge mess that we dealt with at the district level last year. And I know that DSNY and New York City Parks have been reaching out to you since January.
Yeah, we've been having conversations between the three agencies. I'm trying to see how DOT can assist on our end. So lines of communication have been open between Parks, DSNY, and DOT. So I know that the area has been addressed. Like I said, we're having continuing conversations to join into that. That right now is with some of my colleagues. So I will see where we stand on that. But I've been in communication with Parks, and they've been keeping me updated as to what the situation is. And okay.
Let me just tell you that, it is somewhat time sensitive. I know since it's almost 2 years now, Lyle, that we've been addressing this issue, of which I think at the time Ed Pinkert on a walking tour said that he would start to deal with this more specifically. It's time sensitive now because New York City Parks and DSNY are working jointly to clear this area, and it is not safe until they can actually clean this area and start to landscape this area. They can't do it unless the actual area is cleared for them to safely access it and start the landscaping. So I know they've been, trying to reach out over the last couple months, and it's not getting done. So can you really sort of follow up with us on that?
Yeah, I will. Like I said, I'm gonna see where we stand on our side and keep in contact with Parks and Sanitation, and I'll see if we can get an update for you by next month's meeting.
Maybe a little bit before.
Yeah, if possible, yeah, I'll see what I can do.
It's just the planning season right now, and I know Parks is sort of kind of after that a little bit. They're pushing a little bit, Lyle, and I understand why. And so I'm just following up with you to sort of let you know that if you can get in contact with them, that would be great.
Okay, we'll do, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, well, allow Jack, actually, Jack, let me give you a couple minutes. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
real quickly, if I understand correctly, the question about the walkthrough came up at the March 2nd meeting. And if I understand correctly, the response to Ann's follow-up at the April 6th meeting today, the answer is that they'll get back to us at the May 4th meeting.
For the walkthrough, no, the walkthrough, we're in the pre-planning stage. So the walkthrough, I had a meeting with Lyle and Danielle. We're supposed to plan it for later on this month. So the walkthrough is planned for later on this month. We just gotta settle on.
Does that
the date.
include Ann?
So I'm sorry, will not include, everybody will include Councilmember Shauna Berry's office, myself, Anthony, and Jody was the other member that we said, well, we're gonna launch this. Jody represents the area. We wanted to keep it small. So when you have too many captains on the ship, you don't think it's solved.
Right.
So it's a smaller, but Councilmember Berry's office will be there and Jody will be representing you guys in the whole thing. And then myself, to obviously.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that because what I understood from DOT, Mr. Blackwood, that they would get back, he would get back to us at the next, he said at the next.
Yeah.
No, I said that by the next meeting, that the walkthrough would either taken place by then or it should be scheduled. But the idea is to get something on the calendar before the next community meeting. So like I said, we'll figure it out. But yeah, like I said, it's either gonna be done by then or we'll have a date for it by May 4th.
Clarifying that. That's it.
Oh,
You done, Jack? My question is to Ann and Jack. Last time we spoke, there's a bunch of garbage in front of one of the buildings.
Still there.
Huh?
Still there.
Still there, okay. The garbage is still there, Lyle.
in front of.
I hate to interrupt, but two things. We're supposed to have a time limit per speaker. That's number one. And that is not, and again, I'm speaking to Leo, our chair, and I hate to be in this position. And the second thing is he read a list of people who were going to speak with us next, and I don't believe Bruce was on it. So let's follow the rules, please. And again, people on Zoom may not be treated as second-class citizens. And if I were there, you would see this in person. Please, let's follow the rules.
Go ahead, Jim, you're next.
Thank you very much. The main point I wanted to make, and again, I don't like scolding people, but on the other hand, sometimes we have to, put our foot down because we do have rules and they're there for a purpose. I want to, and maybe because I'm not feeling ideally, I'm crankier than usual, but I want to reiterate a point I made earlier, particularly to Lyle. He explained in terms of these extraneous, tickets that come from the cameras on buses that it sometimes happens. Well, again, it is not allowable in a society, a democratic society where the people are on top, to have a system that drags them to court for no reason at all every few weeks. It has to be fixed. And I don't know whether, and then again, we were talking about the complaint we got earlier. And I'm sure there are lots of others. So, again, I don't know whose responsibility it is. I'm sure the MTA can give tickets as well. But whoever is producing these extraneous tickets has to get that under control. And, it happens sometimes, you fall in the hole sometimes and die, no. We have, if the person is not committing a crime, they don't have to come to court for no reason at all to prove that they didn't. That's not how democratic society or any kind of just society works. So, and so that's mainly what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Jim, that's an MTA issue, but we'll
Okay,
relay it
then
to
let them
other-
fix it.
Yeah. Sonia?
Thank you, Leo. And just, I guess, piggybacking on what Jim said, I live on 181st Street. which is a major DOT issue area. And two things. The announcements for work being done on the streets, Lyle, is that coming from DOT or Con Ed? Is my first question. Because we have had work being done from midnight till 6 a.m. For the past several weeks. And it has been loud and it has been very annoying. And I have not seen any announcements of this work being done prior to hearing it. So that's question one. Question two is, and this one piggybacks off of Jim in regards to these cameras and cars being parked. I live right across the street, diagonally across the street from the firehouse. And it disturbs me when I am downstairs walking my dog and I see the firehouse cars, the cars that belong to the firemen, parked outside in whichever way. I mean, they can be on the sidewalk, they can be double or triple parked, whatever the case may be. And then they have their license plates blocked off with tape. That is highly offensive, because if they, who are public servants, are breaking the law, then what do they expect from the residents of the community to be doing as well? So I'm not sure who's monitoring that. And my last one is the bike lanes. There is a huge issue coming off the bridge from the Bronx into Manhattan, into the Heights on Laurel Hill. Individuals coming with those electronic bikes, they refuse to use the bike lane, which took away, I don't know how many parking spaces, and they continue to use the sidewalk, hindering the safety of those of us who walk on the sidewalk. So those are my three major concerns for DOT at this moment.
I'll answer two and I'll answer the bike lane. So the first one, Sonia, send us the information. We had a similar issue on Seaman, I believe it was. A community resident sent the information to the board office, and Kiana and Paola did their due diligence and actually got the permit hours changed, I believe it was. So if it's going late night and it's disruptive, send us the information and we'll forward it to the board office and they'll take care of it. As for the enforcement piece, unfortunately, and I know it's annoying to hear, it's an NYPD. DOT can't do much when it comes to enforcement. DOT has no power to enforce. So if you see, and kind of falls on deaf ears, because if you see FDNY cars parked illegally, you call 311, NYPD is the one that's supposed to follow up, and they won't. So it's something that we got to figure out as a board, and get on the same page, because it's not only an issue in our community, it's an issue citywide. It's just the truth.
But
Yeah,
Leo, they are covering their license plates.
Yeah, so that they won't get a
That's a
picture.
super illegal thing, right? Like,
it is.
they're not above the law.
No, they're not. They're not.
No, they're not. We've had conversations with the firehouse, and we said the same thing to them. MTA and DOT have had meetings on site and told them that if they were to do that, that's not legal. So thank you for letting me know. I can pass it along to my colleagues. I don't know if anything can happen. Is, like I said, Leo is right. DOT doesn't ticket until we don't enforce, but I can definitely let my colleagues know that situation still remains on 181st. The whole point of the cameras is so that the busway is cleared, so that buses can run faster. So the firehouse is no exception to that either. So if you see that that's taking place, like I said, thank you for letting us know. For me in particular, I'm going to pass the information along to my colleagues and see if they can move it up the chain, either for FDNY or PD to address. Because you're right, there should be no exemptions to how that street is run, regardless of who's parked on that street. So,
And I have pictures. If you need pictures, I can send them to you, because
okay, I'll let you know.
very-
No problem. Yeah. Actually, if you do, if you can send them to Leo, you can send them to me, and I'll put that all together and send it to my colleagues for their review. Like I said, I'm not sure, what DOT can do to prevent that from happening or continuing to happen, but at least we can bring it to the attention of someone, in FDNY at the NYPD, to address. But it's not for lack of conversation with this particular firehouse. So again, thank you for letting me know that this is still happening. We were hoping that wouldn't be the case. It's sad to hear that it still is.
And the bike lane, any questions on the bike lane?
Well, bike lane by Laurel Hill is a part of the first phase of the Amsterdam pedestrian safety improvement projects. So ideally, that bike lane will be connected to the rest of the bike network when we get the ball rolling on installations for the upcoming phase of the next Amsterdam project. So we did remove parking on the north side of Laurel Hill Terrace by 182nd to make it a protected bike lane for those bikers. Again, we don't enforce, but the idea is that folks do come off the bridge, go across the street, and take the protected bike lane to connect to the rest of the network. Hopefully, with the installation of the new bike lanes in the next couple of weeks and months, that'll start to change. And again, if there are any adjustments or tweaks that we need to make once a project is installed, we can re-review after a certain amount of time to see if any adjustments need to be made. So I'll let my colleagues know as to the status of that bike lane. Hopefully it'll start to get a little more clear as far as where the bike paths should continue once we start the work on the second portion of Amsterdam from 188th down to the bridge.
Well, Lyle, I just want to piggyback and say the mere fact that it's called pedestrian safety project, it is nothing. It is beyond what the title is, because honestly, I walk that block every morning and I have these electronic bicycles coming at me on the sidewalk in full speed, which is extremely dangerous. They refuse to use the bike lane. And the bike lane did not only take away parking on the north side, it also took away parking on the south side. So it took away about, I would say, an easy, 10 to 15 parking spaces. And then the bikers are not using that bike lane and making it extremely dangerous for those of us who have to use that sidewalk.
And it's unfortunate that current administration mandated or doesn't allow for ticketing for these bike riders. So let me allow Allegra and then
Leo, it's been a waste of time and effort and money, right? Like,
yeah.
honestly.
Um,
Go ahead, Allegra.
so thank you. Yes, I do think they just decriminalize the tickets if they get bike riders, but they're still giving out plenty of tickets. So I was going to ask, for the automated enforcement for the bus lanes, there are actual data tools that we can use to see how effective those have been at improving bus speed times in our neighborhood. And we should be like reading those data out loud. Like, I'm not sure if that's an MTA report or a DOT report that would go to saying like how much that's improved, like transit speeds in the neighborhood. I'm also, Lyle helped me fill out, I guess maybe a year plus ago, like a request for a red light camera at 215th and Broadway for cars run the light every single time. I'd like to have an update on, are those red light cameras ever coming? Like where can we expect them to be installed? And I think for the this place on Laurel Terrace, I do know Hersonia is talking about, and I have to say, as when I'm not sure where everyone else is going, but it's not the most convenient and intuitive entry way for bike riders. So at a minimum, DOT perhaps could help with the signage. I do know Rita Joseph also, she introduced a little build so that DOT would have a unit to do ticket enforcement and take that back from the NYPD, where it has not always been for those kinds of like parking violations and things. Like, I wish that we would talk about that. Some community boards are endorsing like actually having Sammy's Law come to their communities and having low speed areas. I wish that we could talk a little bit more about that. And I'm very surprised, like there was a proposal like within the last month about getting rid of free universal parking in New York City as a way to close our city's budget gap. I wish that we could have a conversation about that. Thanks.
Any updates, Dial, on the?
For the
Speed
cameras,
limit?
I can check to see, I know that there have been conversations with the state as far as, an increase in, both speed and red light cameras. I can check the status to see where we stand with that. And in particular, Liquor's request, for, that camera. I'll be in touch, with you. I'll see what I can find out from our automated enforcement division. And I'll be in touch with you, Allegra. So I'll let you know, hopefully by the end of this week, with an update.
Thank you. With that being said, we'll move on to old business, which is universal parking or permitted parking. And Ty, if you want to take the floor, kind of lead us into it.
Yeah, happy to. So I've talked with Fred about this a couple times. I state.
No, yeah, he's done most of the research for us. So.
Yeah. I did more. Don't need to say where I live.
Oh yes, no, just Ty is a community board member and the chair of the outreach committee.
I feel very at home with it. So. Yeah. I just wanted to open the discussion again at this level. So this is something that the idea of a permit parking program has appealed to me for a long time as a way to make the way that parking works in the neighborhood more fair and more available specifically to residents in a kind of organized fashion, because as anybody who drives knows, it's virtually impossible to find parking in the neighborhood. And when we have a scarcity of parking, we need to make sure that all of that parking is going to residents in a way that is equitable. And I also believe in streets being for everyone. So I don't think streets are just for cars, but obviously streets that we want to support drivers in the neighborhood. We want to make sure that that things are set up in a way where it's fair. So things that this program would target would include like the warehousing, where you have people who have a van, sitting out on the street for weeks at a time, people using the parking spaces for commercial purposes, illegally, people from out of town, just coming in and parking for free on our streets. I don't think we need to support that. So permit parking is something that's been tried in a lot of other cities. Fred has shared with me a lot of really good information about approaches that have been tried, and we'd be happy to circulate that. So I think it's something that we should strongly consider. And I was able to speak with Carmen De La Rosa about this. She's been working on this at the city council level. The challenge from a legislative perspective with the program is the city needs permission from the state to actually enact any sort of program like this. And it's complex, because you not only do you need to have a program, you need to design how people would get their permit to be able to park locally, what the rules are, and then somebody needs to enforce it, which is nobody's job currently. So there's a lot to it, and so it requires kind of buy-in from every level, and therefore a resolution from the board, if the board was aligned with a vision of how we could do a program, would go a long way, because it would show the electeds that there's momentum behind this. So to me, the first step is, I just wanted to come in, raise the topic, hear people's thoughts, and then, based on feedback and how people feel, potentially put forward a proposal of some kind to you all, collaborating with Fred on that, and see if we can make some momentum.
No, I appreciate you coming. So we've had, and again, I thank Fred for it. We've had extensive conversations on this in the past. I think the issue we're having is that it hasn't been approved. There's no guideline, I guess, from the state level. So when I had conversations with Carmen, it's like, well, what are we gonna pass a resolution on necessarily that we want permit parking, but what does that look like for us? And I think the bigger piece in our area is equity. How does it make it fair for someone who might not make as much as person of the block to have that space? So I do entertain the conversation. It's something that we should keep fresh. I caution about throwing out a resolution without having some basis. Cause we don't know what the state, I know Senator Robert Jackson proposed it at the state level. I'm not sure where it went. I know that he was doing that last couple of months or right before the winter recess, sometime in November. So we just kind of we want some direction before we put something out there and say, hey, we back this. Versus, hey, we think this is how it should work. We have no expertise, but based on studies from other places, it worked there, it might work here. All neighbors are completely different. So that's why I'm very cautious about throwing out resolution. We had discussed it, but I want some guidance from our legislators, and then we can say, hey, we back this, or hey, no, we back this portion of it, but we don't like this part. And I think that's the approach I would take. Obviously, we're a committee and a board. My opinion is one. I'm open to hearing anybody else's opinions.
Well, I'll speak, obviously, there's a lot of topics at once, and I'm gonna go right to the proposal portion. And I think that one of the reasons Ty brought it up is that the vast majority of the other community boards have passed a resolution in support of resident-only permanent parking. I would like to see that happen. I think we should do it now preemptively, as opposed to when we need to do it and it's ready, everything's already happened. Because the program is not designed yet and needs to be revenue neutral, that proposal should be strong and broad. It should not include any specifics. We're in favor within CB12 of the exploration of a resident-only permanent parking program. Boom, doesn't need to say anything else. And that'll just put us in the list of community boards that have supported it. And because our council member is, before it was her and the borough president, Mark Levine, basically spearheading it. We would just give her, in case she needs it, something in her toolkit. It's like, oh, is your community board behind you? Yes. But we're not advocating how the program's set up. We're not going to talk about the equity situation in New York. The way that's dealt with is that you receive a subsidy. So everyone's open to the program. The program costs the same for everybody, but not everybody has to pay. It's like taking the subway. Everyone can ride, not everyone has to pay, not everyone pays the same amount. Those are details we don't necessarily want to get into. Those are details we'll get into when the time comes. But I think that we need to move into that ledger side as quickly and easily as we can, and then pick up the pieces.
It's consideration. We had discussed prior is to have a public meeting. Invite everybody in the community. There's a lot of people who are strong advocate for it. There's a huge amount of people that say, hell no, I'm not paying for it. It is it is a public space. A lot of people can't afford it. They can barely afford rent. Now you're telling them, well, you have a car, regardless of what you use it for, we're gonna charge you to use the space. So I think the first step as a community board is to hear others' opinions, not just this consensus. We want to know what our community thinks about it, and then we move accordingly. If the community's for it, then we're for. I mean, we'll have our own votes, but I guess we can back it up. If they're not for it, then I don't want to put something else just because 50 of us voted thinking that it works for everyone. So that's why, again, I'm not saying let's shoot this down. I was one of the first people who brought it to the board saying, hey, this works in certain places like Hoboken, which is the closest one to us. Why not here? But then Hoboken, you look at median salaries, completely different than median salary in an area like this. So equity, again, is the bigger piece. I say that if you guys really want, we can talk about it next month. Push it forward, say we want a public meeting, have the public meeting, invite our community, put flyers, do the outreach, have a conversation evolving, right? We wanted to make sure that as many people have a say at the table, and then we figure out where we want to go with it. And I'm sorry.
No,
Someone
no,
had-
I don't disagree with you. I'm just wondering whether equity also includes the fact that some people get permits and don't have to pay anything. You know, and I sort of support Fred in the concept of let's just get a proposal out there that allows us to look at permit parking as because we're not going to be able to solve any of those issues initially. And they're all going to be issues that are going to have to be taken into consideration when we actually look at it. And honestly, based on everything I know, we don't have enough spots for all the people that need permit parking. So that's an issue unto itself that maybe and my suggestion might be before we even is just to draft, if you could draft something, you know, that you're suggesting as far as a resolution that we could consider in a very, but not, you know, non-committal, very broad way, because honestly, your issues are the most important is equity in this and how we manage that. And I just don't think even if we had a public hearing, I'm not sure we would be able to solve those issues. It would just be clear that that's one of the main issues.
Yeah. I mean, Melissa.
Just I mirror what you're saying. I'm kind of with you, Leo, on this. And I would be reluctant to put anything forward without hearing from the public, because I feel like even putting something forward like Fred suggested, it might be like we're actually like
or something, yeah.
you know, and from what I've heard, a lot of members in my community are very anti this issue. So I feel like just even putting a resolution forward that's even like we're open to it, it kind of shows that we're favoring it. That would be my only issue. I mean, I would vote against it.
Just a quick rejoinder, because I know I'm speaking out of turn.
Daryl and Sonia.
Only 24% of households in this CB own a car.
Reportedly. That's who reports it from. That's who reports. I'm telling you, numbers, stats are stats. And we have to follow because it's on paper. But you'll be surprised how many things you in this community reported. Yes, who reports it? It's like the census, man.
Go ahead.
Just a couple things. One, you said other community boards.
Yes.
So are there specific community boards in Manhattan and the Bronx that have supported this? And if so, can we get those?
Right.
And my other question was, are there other, I mean, no one's a major city compared to us, but any other cities, have they, you know, done this?
It's a few.
I will send you the research paper that I did.
Mhm.
Virtually every other city except us, like in the world,
Mhm.
and in the US has it. Chicago,
Some bigger cities have it.
Los Angeles, smaller cities. Every suburb around us has it, except the 2 or 3 that don't allow overnight parking on the streets. So it's universal, except for New York was a carve out in the legislative law a long time ago to make somebody happy. Yeah, almost all the other CBs in Manhattan except us support it. We're like the outlier, but our council member was spearheading it. So
Yeah, she's been an advocate for it, and I've had conversations, but it's we touch. You can speak to Carmen on the side. We both feel the same way. It's bigger thing is equity and what does it look like. And as a board, I agree with Melissa. I don't want to put something saying, "Hey, we either back this or don't," when we don't know what we're backing. Just know that the idea, the concept sounds great in Hoboken and Chicago and London. We don't know what it looks like here. So I would caution putting out a resolution. I would entertain public meetings. I think we should give people the opportunity to have a voice so that we can know, okay, where our community lies, and then we can kind of sway with that. Let me let Sonia and Jim. Sonia.
Okay, I have been a resident of this community for the past 63 years, and I have never, ever felt the like almost hostility against individuals that own vehicles. Firstly, you know, between bike lanes and now this permit parking aspect, it's just beyond. Oh, and warehousing, right? Like, it's just beyond on the side of individuals that own vehicles. And I don't understand. I guess there is a plan, right? The plan to just get rid of all vehicles in the city, which is not it's not appropriate and it's not going to happen. But all of these policies being put into place are just anti-vehicle owners' well-being. So I would be one of the individuals that would speak out against this permit aspect, because it's just more policing, more controlling, and really disrespecting individuals that own vehicles in this community.
Thank you, Sonia. Jim?
Oh, and one thing, Leo, I'm sorry.
Yes.
If there's going to be an announcement for a public meeting, I really would like to know how it's going to address the Latino population. Because the Latino population does not adhere to the Anglo-Saxon way of announcing meetings. So
I
yeah,
agree.
that's
And that's why Ty is here, the chair of the outreach committee. He's trying to figure that out for us.
Everything's gonna be multi-level.
Yeah. Jim?
I agree with several of you. I agree with Sonia that not only should well, number one, I think we should have a public hearing on the subject, not just a meeting. And I think that's a great idea that Leo gave us. I think Sonia is absolutely correct, and in terms of the outreach, and also the fact that the meeting should have translators. But again, because so much of our community is Latino, we have to do outreach so that everyone in this community is empowered, and so I totally agree with that. I have a few other suggestions. What we because I'm always in awe of Fred and the research he has done and how thoughtful he is and stuff. But there are experts out there, including people in all these other cities and stuff, that can come up with the nitty-gritty, the details of how this thing would work. And in fact, maybe we have different neighborhoods with different, kinds of parking that may not even have a uniform standard throughout the city. So what I would suggest, and if this committee is in favor of it and our board is in favor of it, we should just pass a general resolution, with a few parameters like equity, and then say we would like this looked into. And it may well be whatever experts look into it, like the professionals of the DOT, they may even hypothetically find it not feasible or feasible in only certain areas or whatever. I mean, I know that they have this in Cambridge, Massachusetts forever, but compared to New York, Cambridge is a small town, but as someone else said, compared to New York, pretty much everything is a small town. So, it's going to make it harder to do. Now, one more note. Oh, no, I already covered that. I think, again, and we'll discuss this in another meeting, we want a general resolution since we don't, we sort of know what's going on here, but there are all these experts out there who, actually have degrees in this stuff, which presumably they learned something and lots of experience. And we let them do the nitty gritty, but we want them to get off their chairs and start doing this research. And I think Carmen would be, totally in favor of that. We're not going to get anything until people start thinking about what to do and how to do it. And I think as a first step, we should kick everyone off their chairs and say, start researching this so we can have a program to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I'm gonna allow Anna, we're gonna wrap this up. Go ahead, Anna.
Just quickly, I'm wondering how much of this is created by the impetus of congestion pricing. Are people driving over the bridge and dumping their cars and hopping on the subways? And would permit parking alleviate some of that? And I don't know if this was a major consideration.
That was part of the previous conversation.
Yeah, okay, I didn't hear that.
When just right before it passed, the committee entertained the conversation on permit parking due to that
Right.
fact.
Yeah,
But again, I'm gonna caution us passing anything, even in general, unless we hear the voice of our people. Again, and I'm gonna say this in general, as board members, we're 50 people. We have some public members, so you guys are part of it as well. But we are just 50 people. This neighborhood encompasses from 155th to 218, 219, from river to river. So we have to really allow people to come in and state their opinion. Once we figure out, hey, maybe the majority does want permit parking, then I can say, let's talk as a committee, what do we see, a general broad, whatever, as Fred said, what do we want to see, what permit parking looks for us, right? But until then, I'll speak with Anthony and we'll join the conversation that I do want to push for a public hearing versus let's write something, because then we're saying we align with this, and I don't think, and you heard Melissa and Sonia, I don't think we're all on the same page on what it is, and we don't know what we're aligning to, right? We just know that it's an idea, we see how it works other places, we don't know how it will work at our city level. Sonia, I'm sorry, you cannot have any comments for this, but I'll allow you for 10 seconds.
Okay, now the thing is that, is this really gonna alleviate you finding parking? Because there are people in the neighborhood that have 5 cars that never move. So is this permit really gonna alleviate that, cause it might not, so it's a waste of time.
So it doesn't, because what it does, and again, this is a more broad, more extensive conversation. What it does is allows you to put money towards a space, but it doesn't guarantee you that space.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't
Unless
guarantee
you
this.
mark the space and say, well, this space belongs to this person.
Yeah, they don't do it. It just, there's so amount of people on this block,
It
you have a
might-
permit that corresponds to
So you're-
this, but if these
No
six
matter
people get
what
ahead of.
system you have, someone's gonna abuse
Yeah,
it.
if
And
these six
hey,
people, and there's only 6 spaces, and these 6 people have the space already, but I also have permit parking, what happens to me? I'm paying money just to have it. So there's a lot of nuances and little things. Go ahead.
Big study in order to see how it really is gonna help.
Yeah, completely.
Because it might not.
Yeah, great point. Lots of other great points. This all makes sense. So a couple of things I would just want to say to close this up. So those types of issues, like you're saying, are precisely the kind of things that you have to work out in the details. Like nobody wants that kind of situation, and nobody wants that kind of situation. Like that doesn't seem fair to me. So and I think most people can agree on like the broad strokes of what seems fair and what doesn't seem fair. People driving in from out of town, staying here on our streets for days at a time, not fair. You know, a van parked, like I've got a van parked near me where I live that's been there for years, like as long as I've been there, it's just sitting there taking up a spot. That's obviously not fair, right? So the intent of any sort of adjustment to the policy is to solve the problems that people don't want and create more of what people do want. And then you get into debate about, you know, some people are more whatever pro driving, some people are more anti-driving. There's a debate, right, about what the policy should be. But I think most people have alignment around like the extremes of what we want and what we don't want. So that makes sense. What would be the step that we could take of conducting a hearing or some sort
All
of
that, we can discuss on the committee. I know, so this was the new business, but we'll add it to this one. So we will be having a public hearing on alternate side parking in May. I'm waiting for Steve to commit to a date. We're doing it with Health and Human Services for obvious reasons. Obviously, when cars move, the idle, gas emissions, et cetera, so, or carbon dioxide emissions, et cetera. So we are gonna have a public hearing on alternate side parking next month. We can discuss in the back end on the board and the committee as well, to have something maybe September, or maybe we can do something in the summer even. But that's just conversation amongst the board that I'll loop you in and we can have a conversation with Anthony and say, hey, listen, we're interested in having this. I think it's a hot topic. Let's see what the people have to say, and then we go.
Yeah, and the goal is to gather input, right?
Yeah,
And I think,
exactly.
you know, one thing we would need to just think through is whenever people hear about this kind of idea, they immediately will jump to conclusions about what it could look like based on the models that they have, you know, in mind, and what the implications or consequences would be for them in their life, of course. So I think we would need to really be thoughtful about how we would talk about the issue, like in a very like fair and neutral way, so that it doesn't sound like, oh, it's just gonna, you know, hurt drivers or it's, you know, it's a pro car or whatever it is. It's just like trying to present facts and let people state their views. So I think that makes sense. And then if I could, I would love to see the board pass a resolution that at least states a desire for reform to solve some of the felt needs of the community. I understand, I sense the kind of reluctance to pass anything, but I would just want to say that would be my view would be that it's more important to continue to make progress than to just wait on that hearing. And I think that a resolution could be passed that would be fairly neutral, but in the direction of let's investigate this, whatever the answer ends up being, and let's gather input from the community and just to say that publicly. So that's my stance. So thank you all.
Thank you, John. We appreciate it. Right, so going,
sorry.
oh, sorry, so yeah, new business, we will have a public hearing. Once we finalize the date, I'll let you guys know. That will be in addition to our regular committee meeting. So public hearing will be decided, it'll be on bringing back alternate side parking twice a week. Reason we're having the public hearings, some people are for it, a lot of people are actually against it. So that, and I think that's it.
Did I have a question? I don't know if this falls under old business, sorry, but with Zeta,
Did we?
Oh, so yes, thank you, that's all that. So.
I don't want to open up like
The Zeta-
a long discussion.
Tiana
but
sent
yes,
an email earlier, like an hour or two before this meeting. The hearing with the CA will be happening towards the end of this month. So we will gather all the comments and we'll provide a portion to Wayne and then you so that they can formulate their resolution, obviously, with our comments regards to traffic and transportation. And before I send anything, I obviously will send it to you guys to review. And then we'll forward it to Wayne. It kind of came last minute, although I'm hearing that the BCA will allow us to comment after the hearing. I'm gonna speak with Wayne since we just heard this from Kiana and see if he wants to put something out soon. So it might be voted on the exec, or if we're gonna take our time to really gather information and piece together what we want to say in regards to this. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I know they had Youth and Education had a hearing on charter schools. And there was a lot to be said. So I'm sure they're gonna get their input as well. Somebody else had a question. So.
I have a question, quick question.
Is it a clarifying question? What is it about?
Question that I came,
Yeah.
the reason why I was here tonight,
Yeah, go ahead and answer.
there will be a time for questions.
Go ahead and ask. Yeah, we don't do public sessions at committee meetings. Most committees allow a minute or two. I try to have some type of dialogue so that we can understand our community. But is it in regards to anything we discussed tonight, or is?
No, but the title is transportation, so I thought that this might be the.
Yeah, this is the right place.
So very briefly, my name is Julia Valette. I've lived in Inglewood for over 30 years, and this is my question, and maybe you know the answer already, hopefully. I take the subway, I'm a subway rider, but I'm an occasional bus rider. And the BXM1 bus, the express bus, that stops at Inglewood occasionally, is one of the things I use from time to time. So, the BXM1 bus, at some point, there was a study or something, so there was a determination made that the demand was so great that they added a second stop on Dykeman in Inglewood, right? But my question is, if the demand is so great that it required a second stop at Inglewood, why is it that not every stop stops in Inglewood? Why is it that there's still, I don't know, 10 buses a day that don't stop at Inglewood? Because that makes me feel like a second-class citizen.
That's a good question. I wish Alberto was here. Alberto's our MTA rep, so he would provide some answers, or at least take it back to his people so he can give an answer. I'm gonna get your email. I'm gonna give you my email, and you send me exactly, and I will forward it to him, and then we can have a conversation online, because I'm not too sure about it. But I do understand your concern. We don't want to be sitting.
And none of them are limited routes. I don't think, right?
I don't think
here.
It's an express bus, yeah, so I don't, it has limited routes. Express bus do have.
Oh, okay.
But. Yeah, I would
skip.
That's one of those questions for Alberto.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julia. All right. Any other comments,
I had
concerns?
a quick clarifying question on Zeta. Was there any contact between Zeta and you or anybody else after?
Yeah,
whenever
so-
they presented that we had.
Yeah, so last March was a bit of an odd month. There was a lot going on, at least in my personal life. So I was in and out, mostly out. The CEO, Emily Kim, reached out to me various times, just to have a conversation, sit down. I did tell her that I would sit down with her soon. I'm just kind of getting back to the mix of things, so I will be reaching out to her and sit down. I know the board, we're not too happy with Zeta and the location they're choosing, whatnot. My understanding is that even if the BCA rejects their application for that corner lot, they can still build.
Which I hate.
Yeah, yes,
Right.
because.
But then they threatened, they're like, yeah, but we won't have a gym, we won't have all this. I'm like, that's
Exactly, yeah, so.
Then just don't have a school there.
Yes.
But
I'm not sure, to be honest with you, what route we're going. I'm gonna have a conversation with her. Because if it were to happen, I obviously want a gym for the kids. I want a space for the community to be able to use. So maybe it's one of those things where we sit down and we kind of just get on the same page. It might be one of those things, but we'll see.
I just had a couple of quick thoughts on that whole presentation and the problem. One solution is to buy the gas station.
Well, data?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously spending $100 million.
I mean, if
Okay,
they're
so-
willing, if the gas station was willing to sell it,
Right,
I
just-
doubt. it.
Just that one might want to.
Sure,
one last.
Yeah, no,
And
gas
the
station.
other question is like, why are they putting a school there? And so like, I don't know, and as I did some research online, it may or may not have come up. But it also seems like, it's, the founder of the school was with Success Academy. And so there obviously is some impetus to have a school, but there's also this scheme that like, you're buying commercial real estate and putting a school on it. So is the play really for a school, or is the play really for that long-term real estate? And the question is like, if it is, then they're winning regardless of whatever school they put on, because they have the land and they can sell 75 years from now. Because one question is like, there are some other empty lots within 2 blocks of that area on Wadsworth and like, that area, but seeing that they would be slightly smaller, but probably you'd end up with the same amount of square footage, wouldn't have traffic issues. And so why would you not choose those lots over this one? And the only reason I'd come up with is that it's a commercial real estate play.
I understand your point. I can't answer for it. I don't think you're wrong, but
I'm not expecting you to answer, just want to plant to see.
And I would just add like one stat, and I don't know if this has changed in the last 6 years, but the 2020 census versus the 2010 census showed a 7% decrease in youth.
Yeah.
So do we even need a school?
And Noemi, who's really involved in schools on, Sonia, then we'll wrap up, guys. I'm sorry.
I just have a quick question in regards to the May public hearing for alternate side hearing or parking. How
Yes.
is that going to be sent out to the public?
So we're gonna work on it. I at the beginning, I'm also the first vice chair of the board. So at the beginning of my tenure, one of my main I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind today. One of the main points I wanted to bring is that we don't really get out as a community board, and we don't really touch certain areas or certain demographics in our community. So I'm working with Anthony and Ty, and we are gonna make it bilingual, not only Spanish, there's other people here that speak Russians, Greek. So we're gonna try to get in multiple languages, and then we're gonna try to have translator services, at least via Zoom, so that whoever can't join us can jump in Zoom and hear it in their language. So this is a lot of work in the background. I'm gonna push for it as I have since I've joined the board 6-7 years ago. But stay tuned. I'll keep you posted on that, Sonia. I am gonna advocate for more citizens.
My concern is to make sure that it's out, the information as to time, date, and place is out there with enough time for people to plan to attend.
Oh, no worries. Anthony, I think does a pretty good job at making sure things are out. But I'm just waiting on Steven. I'll reach out to him probably tomorrow just to get a date so that we can start getting the flyers going and start getting the information disseminated to everyone else.
Thank you.
No worries. With that being said, any motion?
Yes.
Motion, Jody first.
Second.
Second.
Second, and we're gone. Have a good night, everyone.